I just got home from watching Spider Man Brand New Day in 3D on opening weekend. This is the second highest grossing box office opening weekend ever, shortly behind Avengers Endgame, which is incredible, crazy that this character has brought out the masses. Well deserved as well. I think Tom Holland is the best Spider Man out of the three actors who have played him. In this video, I want to talk about the things that I felt could have been better about the film. And I say that not because I don't like the film. I really did really enjoy it, which is why I posted like 5 different videos glazing how I love the film on Instagram. But I felt like I needed something long form to really kind of discuss the things where it could have been better because while I loved it and I glazed up so much of the acting, the actors, the story, it truly wasn't perfect. So much I loved about it, and once again, I posted multiple Instagram videos about all the great things, the New York references, the acting, the emotional storytelling, the relatability. But at some point, I think a true fan needs to also discuss the things that could be a bit better, could be tweaked. And this one will have spoilers, so spoiler warning, because I can't really do this well without talking spoilers. So hopefully that's okay. Now, first and foremost, the Jean Grey thing. First off, I thought it was a really good slow reveal. I have to give you credit for that. Like, I didn't know it was X-Men Jean Grey. I thought it could have been just some new Spider-Man mind possessing monster or villain. I really liked the consistency of acting across so many different people who had to play the same villain. I was literally thinking like they must have got them all these actors and actresses in a room and they must have like planned it together to make sure the acting was consistent. That was really well done. With that being said, I think some parts with the whole Jean Grey thing was just really flat in terms of the cliche and trope and the cheesy. I don't know about cheesiness, but like predictability. Like, guys, we've seen this before multiple times. Like you literally even cast Max from Stranger Things, where this was really done well already from a big franchise. The classic trope of psychic ability guy and then some government official or organization who has no morals, who's abusing and torturing this terrible person. To be fair, it worked. It worked well. I was really pissed off when I saw how they were mistreating Jean. Um, but like, I mean, it just seemed like it was way too. It's been done too many times. I've seen other X-Men films where it was kind of done as well with Magneto. It's like, how many times are you gonna do this? So that whole thing was kind of like overdone. I mean, you saw many episodes of 11 having to go through this, and I wouldn't be surprised if this actress called up Millie Bobby Brown and asked for tips like, "Hey, I have a similar thing. Can you give me acting tips? Because I'm playing basically the same character now." This whole Gene thing, I think another issue is like combining the X-Men universe with the Marvel universe in this way, like these worlds colliding and just merging. I don't think it really fits well. If you've seen the X-Men universe, like it only really gels well if like the whole country or government is basically treating all people with superpowers like scum. Like that's the whole point of this dystopian universe. So instead, what they're kind of doing is saying, "Oh yeah, now the X-Men's part of the MCU and the same universe, and instead of the entire government being out against mutants, well, some are considered superheroes, and then you, Jean, just because you're psychic, you're not a mutant. You're just treated poorly and have your own personal backstory, which is why you are who you are." But I really kind of like the idea of them combining X-Men characters into this, into Avengers, because I know that's coming up. So that's really cool. And we'll see how it plays out. But like, yeah, it is kind of weird how they combine. It's really also fascinating seeing how Spider-Man kind of came in and helped her and let him into her mind and let her into his mind and kind of demonstrated like what Aunt May told told her, and that was kind of cool. And to see the maturity and how Spider-Man went through something new, like it's cool, but it's we're definitely getting into like in a new world territory because it's like, yeah, that's essentially not like the X-Men's backstory. Like this is like a new kind of Frankenstein version of Jean Grey with Spider-Man kind of teaching him because the classic Jean Grey, classic mutants did not have that. But also, like, kind of cool to see this unique new take, you can say. But then on top of that, like, also, you see on the gravestone that Aunt May is 60 years old, which is also kind of weird because she doesn't look it. She looks like 30 years old. Like, I, I had that instant thought while watching it, like, man, they love casting good-looking young characters to play old characters because that's what the audience likes to see. And I think it was not until this film where they were like, yeah, let's make her 60. And then not until the last film where they're like, well, he doesn't have a Uncle Ben story yet. So let's just make Uncle May the sacrifice. So I really truly think they're making it up along the way. I don't think even in the first film they knew Zendaya was MJ. Until later they're like, yeah, he needs a MJ. Let's just make a Zendaya. I think it was kind of a slow burn in that way. Um, Other things I think could have been better. The whole Punisher thing and the Hulk integration. I thought that could have been better done. The trailers made it seem like those like red ninja guys would have been a key villain, but they were more kind of like side puppets the whole time. You never really truly heard them talk or heard their personality or what was going on. And to some degree, that's okay because there's too many characters, and I kind of like that they didn't go into too many backstories. But on the flip side, like first they were the puppet of like the government, then they're the puppet of Jean Grey. You saw them say a couple lines in Japanese, I believe, but you never hear them talk on their own. So like, who knows what's going on with them? But more importantly, the whole Bruce Banner thing and Punisher thing, I did like seeing Frank Castle and the Punisher in there, but like there were a couple moments that were a bit off. And like again, like I said, this is more like I felt like the painting was good, but some strokes, some paint strokes could have been better. And this is my opinion. So with the whole Hulk thing, it's like we keep going back one step forward and one step back with this guy. Like they made like I really wanted to see like an actual like, okay, Hulk is the Hulk and he's part of the Avengers and he can talk, he can think on his own. Like that's what we see in the animation version a lot. And like, he's not just this uncontrollable monster, but like in this film, it looks like they've taken like two or three steps back where he's still this like caged monster and like Bruce has to like put on this like inhibitor device to control him. And it's like, what? I thought you could control him with your mind, but now you're so handicapped mentally, you can't do that anymore. And I thought in previous films you could turn him on and off at will, but now you can't. It's just kind of weird. I kind of like the one where when he was in Thor, and he basically, it was more like purely Hulk, no Bruce, and that was cool. Like I never liked the one in Endgame where it was just, it was basically the actor who played the Hulk, but in Hulk's body, but it never really was the Hulk because like he was it was Bruce talking normally. So there was such a weird hybrid version. Like I think a lot of fans from what I've seen on social media agree that we would just prefer like much less banner. And I know they probably do it because they need to get screen time. Like if they're just gonna go pure Hulk CGI all the time, why pay millions of dollars for this actor? But like when it comes down to it, the audience wants to see the Hulk, not like this constant like I don't know what's going on, like this inhibitor stuff, and like when he is the Hulk, it's like kind of the Hulk, but also like Bruce Banner's face CGI'd on. It's like some hybrid version. It's just kind of weird. Just give us the big giant monster Hulk, and we did get to see him towards the end, unleashed. But like I think they could have made him much bigger still. Like I know Peter said that whole line of like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you could get that big." I loved that, but then my instant next thought, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one, was like, he's still not that big. Like he's maybe like 10 feet tall, maybe 8 feet, but like the Hulk in the previous like iterations or the comics or the animation, like that guy is huge. That guy is like I would love to see like a 30 or 50 feet Hulk. Then you really see just how devastating this monster is and how he's on a class of his own in terms of mutants. But like in this MCU, they've always made him kind of like 8 feet tall or something, like the size of Thanos, and it just something about it just makes it seem much weaker. And like that first iteration of Hulk in the film series, like he was so strong he could jump and fly like 200 feet. Like I don't know what's going on. It just felt like it was like two or three steps back. As far as the character arc and story goes, generally I liked it. I loved the emotional storytelling. This whole like um Peter really finding his way and then being so scared that like even though he's really just evolving and changing as a person. Like Zendaya said it perfectly in that one scene. It's like you're trying to inhibit yourself like a monster, and like it's just a good guy trying to change. And Bruce said it earlier too, so it was more foreshadowing. And he finally figured it out. He took off the inhibitor, and like turns out like the powers he thought he was scared of or is suppressing was actually like good for him. And why they decided to shift to organic versus him with the web shooters, I don't know really. I mean, I guess it's him evolving to a greater state, but like it's a coming of age story, I guess. But I felt like they've already done a coming of age, and like what's the point? Like, is it to set up something in the next Avengers film where it's just more convenient or better for the storyline if he has organic web shooting? I know like he shouldn't have been too surprised because he saw Toby do organic, but like does it really make that much of a difference? I guess they just folded that into the whole new powers coming of age thing and his head hurting, but like it never really was fully explained. Like it's not the symbiote, so like it was just kind of like I guess he has like headaches and stuff, and he's trying to you know get it together. I felt like there's many ways for this writing to fail more than it to succeed, because it's easy to mess up a story and it not be compelling. So overall, hats off to them. They did it again, incredible. I thought it was a good story more than a bad story. But it's kind of like a painting that I felt like was generally good, but like a few strokes could have been better. um I think the build up and like the grind and the pain and the pacing and the beats were pretty good, up until that moment where I felt like it was kind of pulled away from him when you find out that it wasn't MJ kissing him, it was Jean Grey controlling MJ, and then like him breaking down in tears, and then like it being taken away from him. I felt like it was a bit too much. Like it was like all of that stuff, and then boom, nope, it was just Jean. Like I felt like there was a good build up, and then it was just kind of pulled away. But my God, like the storytelling, once again, it's like on another level compared to Andrew Garfield's films. Those were such terrible stories, like atrocious. Like some people say that was the best Spider-Man. Like I just completely disagree. Like maybe it's because it was their first Spider-Man they saw, so just like the fact that it was made people like it so much. But like Andrew Garfield's films, like they're just so basic. It's like he defeats the villain. That's about it. But these were just like so much greater depths of storytelling and nuances, and like him seeing MJ being kissed by another man, and then like the flowers, and like all these things, like stalking Ned on Instagram, like so many nuances that you just feel for the character. The whole production, incredible. Once again, I'm back to glazing it, but like back to the things that like I feel like just made it so good. Um, and but it can be improved. I felt like the Punisher's interactions and moving the story forward, it just felt like I felt like he was always more of a hindrance than a help oftentimes, which I felt like they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to make him look like a bozo. Arguably he did help a little bit. He saved Spider-Man a bit towards the end, but like Spider-Man Peter didn't feel that way. He was like, you're supposed to be protecting MJ in a bunker, which I think makes more sense. And then he was like countering, saying, "Oh well, MJ told me to come here," but like that's such a weak argument. Like, yeah, it was compelling, but then like, what are you doing? You're leaving her alone in the bunker. Like, it was just kind of unexplained and kind of awkward. It's like you had one job, and like and they did a really good job. Once again, shout out to Tom's acting of how much he cared about MJ, but then like you're just gonna leave her in the bunker, abandon her, and like help with Spider-Man. Like I don't know, like Punisher, like it just seemed like he was like not doing much, like driving around in the van. You know, from the start, it was like a hindrance to Spider-Man. Like literally, he literally stops the Punisher from like battling these villains because like he literally stops the car from working. And then Spider-Man later, it's like, what is he doing? Like I love the banter and a relationship with the Punisher, but he calls him Frank all the time. So like for those not familiar, like I love that like the film's not explaining everything like we're dumb, but like I guess that's okay. But like I don't know, it just feels like he wasn't really doing much to help Spider-Man. It was more of like a hindrance. I guess he was helping by protecting MJ, but he didn't even do that. And then like he did kind of save Spider-Man, but then he shoots Jean when Peter didn't want to. And I guess it moves the story forward because it's like, wow, once again, Peter makes a huge sacrifice, and then Jean has to save him. And then, you know, Frank apologizes afterwards, so like it makes it better. And then I guess Frank saves the day and helps Peter by like pretending to be Spider-Man so Peter can sneak out of the hospital. But like I think it just could have been done better in some ways because like I don't know, it just seemed like for the most part it was just this guy like driving around in a van. Like you don't really even see his powers or how effective he is. Maybe until you see him with the sniper rifle. Um, Other than that, like I felt like the through line with which what makes the film so incredible was really the character himself, and then a little bit with the Gene storyline too. But like really, it was truly Tom Holland show and his character show because the guy was going through a lot. He it's about him trying to reconcile, protect his friends, and try and do everything on his own and try and fight his body changing and trying to inhibit that and try and do it all on his own and realizing he couldn't, and how important community is for humans. And that's really relatable. I think I saw this other Instagram video and he was just claiming how um, Spider-Man films are always just good if you have the right packaging, like pizza or ice cream. It's good everywhere. It's a good analogy, but I think the point is wrong because it's not simply just about the fact that um, what he was saying about how it's just about, oh, if you have someone who, if you make it seem like it's a superhero and like you make the audience feel like they want to be Spider-Man, you've won, and that's what makes this film was good. No, that's not it, because there's hundreds of superhero films that have come out lately, and well, not hundreds, but like at least 50, and like a lot of them just kind of fall flat in some ways because even though it's too one dimensional. It's like, hey, I'm this big cool superhero, you want to be me. Like if that was the case, Blue Beetle would have done well, but it's more than that. There's so many layers to it, and he missed those points, and that's what makes it so great. So overall, great job, but these are things I thought could have been done better.